Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christ169 coming to you with a live upload. Um, I'm here, you're there. Now, first topic of the story is um, why I have not been making video content for a while here. Um, I have found out that I have my tooth is going bad. The same tooth I talked about getting a crown for. So I had to use some oral gel and some Aleve. No, I'm not sponsored by any of these. But I've used it to help dull the pain. It's a noticeable pain. It's like maybe from 0 to 10, it's a 1.5, 2. Well, I know it's going to increase in severity because I've had these before. So I'm not really happy about that. But I have a root canal treatment procedure booked on Friday at 1 p.m. 1:30. So I'll be going on there. So I won't be probably making a video Friday night at all. I may make one Thursday, but like I said, my last couple days of my vacation, I get to have root canal done. Yay! But it's a good vacation so far. This topic of the video, guys, live stream. Q-tips here. I'm not sponsored by Q-tips or either. But anyway, though, the topic of this video is going to be what's the best CPU for your money. And there's many types. I can sit here all day long and go over many types. But I'm on Amazon page right now. I typed in CPUs. CPU apostrophe S brings up the first one is a Ryzen 7 8700G, 8 core, 16 threads. That is around $178. Um, Now you can get the motherboard with it. You can get a motherboard with it for $300, $500, whatever you want to. Make a little more money. This is just the desktop processors. This does not include the graphics card, and it has a built-in fan. It too has a cooler in it too as well. Like my 5600X, when I had it, had a cooler, and it was really good. And it had a real good design and knew what it needed to do. Um, Really, it's what you need to look at is what you want to get out of it. 5700G is a good desktop. AMD, of course. Clock speed is 4.6 hertz. Reviews are mostly positive. 5600X is 156. The list of them on the bottom here. You'll scroll down, list of them. 5700X is maybe about $12, $11 more. 5600G is 128. It's cheaper, but you want to go. You can go 5600G, but I wouldn't. I would probably stay right around that price range of probably an X. Um, it's really a good processor for gaming too, as well. I mean, it's not going to be anything terrible if you're used to that type of stuff. So 5600G, 5600G, 5700G is going to be, thank you, is going to be probably your best bet for budget. You can get 5600X and 5600G, but if you're going to go ahead and spend $178, now if you get a motherboard, that's going to be another 300 something dollars, so it's going to be a little more expensive. One below that is an iCore i9 900KS desktop. It's $2,100. $2,200 for a i9 9900 KS. That's you. Go nuts. Ryzen 9 5900X, 12 cores, 24 threads. For enthusiasts out there, and your Ryzen 5 5600X 6-core 12 thread is on sale from 309 to 156. This is on Prime. So if you're gonna go Prime, I mean Amazon, you get some better discounts on there. And below that one is 5700X Ryzen 7. What I have is a Ryzen 5800X, if I can find it on here. Um, it's hard to find here. I'm gonna look mine up. But I think the 5800X, I'm thinking, guys, personally, between CPU usage, if you're gonna play games on it, you can get away with a 5600X or 1500G. It's not a bad build for it. You'll run it real well. The reason why I went to 5600X, 5800X 3D was my brother-in-law told me, "Hey, get this for Christmas. It's kind of cool. It's gonna, help max it out a little more." Now, I think I can probably go 5900X if I really wanted to go, but 5800X 3D is probably a little faster than the 5900X. Now, I think the 5950X is 3D is astronomical. It does. I think I watch Gaming Nexus on YouTube. I'm following him down below, so if you find him down, click on him, watch the videos, and also the and also the yeah, I can't remember his name now. I'll get to it eventually. I remember his name. Um, but they talk about PC and stuff. Gaming Nexus is probably that's one I talked will watch, and I did a whole thorough study on the 5900X 3D and talked about the pros and cons of it. The 5800X 3D was still up there. 5600X wasn't on the board that much. Maybe didn't have enough room for it. But if you're a multi-threading person, the Intel is probably the best way to go if you're doing multitasking. But I would stay away from the Intel i9 900KS desktop, 8-core processor. Yeah, it's 8-core processor, and it looks pretty cool, but it's $2,200, folks. You can buy a pre-built for that kind of money. So let's look at mine here. The one I have currently, 800 3D. That's originally going to be 449. 8 cores, 16 threads. The hertz are a little slower. I think things like 4.3 instead of 4.7 or 3.3, whatever it is. 3.4. Let's check quickly here. That is probably a good build if you want to max out and get 3D cache. Socket M AM4. So it's one of the last ones for the socket AM4s. They're going to AM5 eventually, and they are right now in most cases. 5800X is a little cheaper than 900X, but not by much. 5700X is cheaper. 7700X is a little more expensive. 50X is really, if you're an enthusiast, I would probably go with 5950X if you're some elite enthusiast who has to have latest things. But even I would probably go with probably a 5800X 3D or non 3D. Um, Only because I like to have, here we go, 5-star rating at 91%. 5 stars, good. Ounces, AMD, number of processors. And the best thing about processors, you can actually, click on them to make them for games. If you want to use 6 processors instead of 8, you could. You have to go on and change something in the system. It's not too hard. It told me that hard at all. This came out April 20th last year. Doesn't give a whole lot of information. But here's the thing, guys, with these upgrades. Okay. I'll type in the list. List the best CPUs here. And I'll tell you point blank truth right now with this situation here. If you're going from a 5600X to a 3D, 5800X 3D, you may know some difference, may not. I went that because I got it for Christmas. Now, would I spend 400 something dollars for it? Probably not. But if you're going from a 3600 Ryzen 5 3600 to a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, you're going to notice a lot more performance. I'm not saying the performance is bad with the 5800X, 5600X, and 5800X in the 3D and non 3D versions. But what I'm saying is, though, what you're getting to, dollars and cents. It's dollar per frame rate. You have to look at it as, frame rates per dollars and cents. Okay. You have to know, okay, what is the cost effectiveness of buying a $800 Intel. It's right here. Intel CPU that costs over 800 something dollars that, yes, is good, but you can get a i7 12700K desktop 8 for $309. i7 12700K desktop processor 12. 8P and E and dual cores. Um, I'm not really familiar with the Intel products. Um, but seeing how the 12900KF is $400, and you can get a 1200 700KF a little cheaper than you can the i7 1200K 700K. It just depends on what you're doing with it, your application purposes. Like I said, you can get a 5900X, you can get an i7 11700 for $260, 262, 8 cores up to 4.9 hertz. i7 you can get a 267. You can get $120, $130 Ryzen 5 5600G. So which one is the best one? In closing, which one is the best one? In closing, it's up to you to really make a determining factor. It it's up to you to make that plunge, so to speak. It's up to you to take the leap of faith. Now, if you know what you want to get, if you want a 5600X, go nuts. If you got a 3600 Ryzen 5 and you go to a 5600X or non-X or G, you're going to notice a big performance boost and frame rate boost. You're going to notice it. But if you're going from 5600X to a 5800X to 5800X 3D, you may notice some or not. I noticed that, the processing power is a little faster, obviously, gaming. But I'm not doing I'm not doing Cinebench. I'm not doing compressing techniques. I'm not doing 3D rendering. So the other part of the cache just sits there. But it does help a lot of games. Shout out to Meta Games does it help loads a lot faster because of its, more cores, but also 3D cache. And it does better. But is it the end all be all? No. It's good with Gaming Nexus and with Jay's 2 cents, if I remember his name, talked about it being it's a good, decent processor where it's good for gaming. But you want to do multi-threading, I would probably go with probably a i5 or an i7 1200, 1300, something that nature, a lot more bang for your buck. Of course, you're paying more bucks for, but you're getting more bang for your buck in the end. You'll be able to have more money because you'll be able to spend more money because you're going to be knowing that when you buy this thing, it's going to be a lot more than just a processor that sits there and does the games. You can do multi-threading type purposes like 3D rendering and maybe multitasking, sim benching, stuff like that. You could do a lot more rendering where you won't do that and can't do that with a 5800X 3D or 5600X or any of the AMD processors. You can do 950X 3D. It can do it. But once again, the 12900, 1300, 12, 1300, 13900 KS is going to be your best bet if you can do multi-threading purposes. If you're doing a little bit of gaming, but running a business like 3D business and doing all that other stuff, and you want an Intel product. If you're doing nothing but gaming, AMD is best thing to go for it. So I'm thinking for the gamer mostly, but I can't just say, well, just buy this for everything because it may not work. So my recommendation is this, and I say this all the time: it's what you can afford, but what you're most interested in. Okay, if you like the Intel products and you think about going to AMD, stop the truck here, put it in park, and think about it. If your motherboard only accepts Intel, you gotta change your motherboard out. That's $300-400 right there. So you have to think about it up here. Think, what is practical for me? And I say this because my PC build is for an AMD uh, processors. But I can get a multi-board in the next build and have a dual board where I can do AMD and Intel. A little more different configuration I've heard, but nothing too serious. But that biggest thing is you're gonna have to understand what you're willing to spend and what you're going into it. If you're going into gaming, Fit 600X would be the best thing for you. If you're brand new PC build and PC gaming, but if you want to max it out, by far 5800X 3D is a better scenario because if you're playing games like Microsoft Flight Simulator with Oculus Rift, it will run better. Granted, if you have a good graphics card, 3070 and higher, to actually run it pretty well, to run a lot better. I mean, that being said, though, even if you don't have a high power graphics card and get a decent like 5800X 3D, you can still run some decent games. It's just you bottlenecking your GPU more than not. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, this: understanding how much money you willing to spend is crucial. Yes, the graphics cards are great. The RAM sticks are great. Like I said, I have 5800X with a 3D with a 3070 and 2.6 of DDR4, 3600 hertz, 32 gigabytes of 16 gigabytes of times two dual channel RAM, 3600 hertz. So 32 gigs in a big ass Nautica cooler, air cooler. So me personally, I'm at where I'm at right now with this, and I enjoy it. My family, sister and brother-in-law built and bought me the thing for Christmas, like 400 something dollars for the 30 5800X 3D. Now it's like what, 300 something dollars. Last time we checked, and it's a good deal. I mean, if you can get it, if you want to upgrade from 3600 Ryzen 5 to go Ryzen 7, if your board can handle it, go for it. If you're going from a 3600 non-X or X processor to a 5800X 3D or 5700X or 5800X, go for it. You're gonna notice a big uptick in your processing, but also your frame rates. You're gonna notice it. Meanwhile, if you have a dual channel RAM and also a good graphics card, but doesn't mean you have a good graphics card that's not gonna be bad frame rate. It's just you don't want to bottleneck anything. You don't want to bottleneck anything that can be a problem to your system. You don't want to you don't want to take a big gigantic funnel and turn it into a small garden hose where you have to funnel all the information through. If you want to have at least enough practical space where you can funnel all that through, and still have low performance on the table to work with. You don't want to constrict it where it's throttling, because you're not going to throttle a 1200, a 13900 KS processor. You ain't going to throttle it. Not that I know of. But you can throttle a bit 600X if you don't have a good graphics card to go with it. So everything is key with this. 3060 and above will be good for any real processor, but you got to use common sense with it. If you're going to go out there and do benching and a lot of heavy download and heavy upscale up in 3D rendering and multitasking, you might want to go with Intel. Which one you choose is up to you. Do your research. If you want gaming, AMD easy. If you want a basic processor that will give you some oomph but not break the bank, fit 600X Ryzen 5. Because 3600 non-X and X are still being used in recommended builds today for a lot of games. So I say it to you guys, not to be weird, to be very serious with you, that building your first PC or upgrading first PC, if you have a 5600X, getting the 5800X 3D may not be 100% viable. But if you get a 5800X or 5900X, if your motherboard can go that high, you might be better off. Depends if you want to do gaming only. This is part of the gaming now. Game 5600X. If you want to really push it, and your motherboard and RAM and your good graphics card and cooling, because my system's warmer now because 5800X 3D, but the cooler keeps it relatively cool. No pun intended. Where it's doing really good and it works really well and it does what it needs to do, and that's something that I like it to do. It does what it needs to do. It works fine. If you do upgrade your existing CPU, a new one, go into your BIOS and update your BIOS to make sure. Because my sister and brother-in-law put mine in on Christmas last Christmas here a couple months ago, and didn't update the BIOS. And I didn't mess anything up. It's just they had to update the BIOS so the processor would take better. And once they did that, it works perfectly fine. So update the BIOS. Of course, don't unplug anything. Don't do anything silly with it because you break your motherboard. You probably break your CPU and GPU too, probably. So don't do anything silly with that. Um, like I said though, if you bought your like a pre-built, like a Best Buy or whatever, take it to them. They'll probably be able to do it for you from a small fee, of course. But I would rather have people like that do it, Geek Squad, and do it yourself and brick it and say some fat guy told you on YouTube. It's not hard to do, and I don't want you guys to have that issue. So I always call my brother-in-law and sister for me. Yeah, now you may not have a brother-in-law and sister who's PC and the PC nuts, but if you do, utilize them or make a deal, whatever, arrange some kind of financial, whatever you want to call it, and make a deal so you guys can get that. Because you want to make sure you don't break your a motherboard when you're doing update your BIOS when you do upgrade your CPU. If you have existing build, if you're buying a brand new one, a pre-built or doing it yourself, you ain't nothing to worry about really. It should be pretty easy peasy. YouTube videos, how-to videos on YouTube. Hell, I watch it when I'm cleaning my system. I'll put it on my phone and watch how to clean my system better. It sounds silly, but you know what? I'm taking everything I can to make sure my PC lasts the longest. So, like I said, guys, this is my video. Once again, thank you for watching my live stream. Like I said, I need to get a root canal done for my tooth here. My large filling is finally going bad. So I got an appointment on Friday, so I won't be making a video probably Friday or Saturday. And I start my new shift Sunday night, so I'll probably make one for a while. So I may make one tomorrow. But if I don't, I'll see you guys when I see you. Once again, like, subscribe, notification, ring that bell. My gamer tag Christ169 on Xbox. On Steam is Christ1691. EA Play is Christ169. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Be safe, all you guys. Peace.